And to join us with that update is Scott Van Egeren. Scott is a lake and river biologist out of the Rhinelander DNR Service Center here in Rhinelander. He has been in that role for a while, and he before that was doing much lake research down in Madison as a Madison specialist. Scott has a great passion for helping connect communities to being good stewards and protectors of lakes and rivers. And we're glad that he can join us here today to give us updates on what's happening in the world of water from the DNR's point of view.
Sounds good. Well, I guess I wanted to do a couple things today. One, talk a little about what, as our lakes team in Rhinelander, we're doing to connect with lake associations to improve lake health through our monitoring. And then second, I'll give some brief updates on some DNR water quality initiatives statewide that are taking place right now and ways you can find more information about those. So I'll hop in here and just start with talking about how we're using our monitoring to connect with local lake associations to improve lake health. Now this image on the right is just a map of shoreline vegetation within the 35-foot buffer mapped around a lake that we've worked with in Vilas County. Our team collected the data. The colors just indicate how much of the shoreline buffer for each shoreline parcel is vegetated. So this is one type of information we collect, and I just wanted to throw that out there at the beginning. So we do what we call in the DNR directed lakes monitoring, and we get to do about 9 lakes per year if we're fully staffed. At the DNR, we're required to collect physical, chemical, biological data on lakes across the state to report on the health of them across the state. And this helps us maintain funding from EPA. It's part of our Clean Water Act monitoring. So we can randomly select lakes, but the data we collect can also be used to address local water quality issues. You see a variety of issues that might come up for groups here. And we try to pair some of our directed lakes we pick each year with lake associations that need information. So often lake associations are looking for information about their lake because they just don't have any information. They just want to start a baseline, collect some data about their lake to measure against in the future. If they do have issues on their lake, this information can be used to help create a lake management plan to deal with pressing issues like aquatic plant management or shoreline erosion on the lake. And the survey work we do also can help, and lake associations want to usually gain a better sense of improvement areas around their lake. What can they do to keep the lake healthy? So when we're picking our directed lakes, this is what we're looking for in lake associations that we want to work with. That they have a compelling need for some baseline water quality and lake habitat information on the lake. That they're willing to collect the water quality samples as part of this monitoring. And we can train them. Sandy Wickman's on the call. She's our excellent Citizen Lake Monitoring Network coordinator in this part of the state. So we can train you to collect the water quality samples. And this just shows to us that the Lake Association has some buy-in into this information and collecting it. And it also saves us as staff several trips to a lake over the summer. So it's a nice partnering tool. So we want somebody that can commit to collecting the water quality. And maybe most importantly, we're trying to look for groups that are willing to commit to taking steps to preserve or improve the health of a lake through proactive conservation measures. And especially as our last speaker was just talking about, along the lake shoreline, ways to protect the lake from future impacts through runoff and improve habitat around the lake shore. So here is just a sense of what we collect with our directed lakes monitoring. I'm kind of using this as an infomercial to those of you in lake associations out there that might want to partner with us to collect data. We collect water quality information on the lake, and hopefully a volunteer from the lake could do that. We also collect a good amount of data about fish and wildlife habitat. We do a whole lake aquatic plant survey, a shoreline vegetation and shoreline condition assessment of each parcel around the lake. And then we search the lake for large woody habitat logs that have fallen into the lake. So it leaves you with a lot of good fish and wildlife habitat and shoreline condition information about the lake. We also go out and do a search for aquatic invasive species of all types to kind of make sure nothing has shown up recently. And I'd say, we have a grant program that can fund this data collection as well. Partnering with the DNR, I guess we would, if you can't get a grant, you can contact us, and we kind of keep a list of lakes that are interested in having data collection. And I would, from a lake association point of view, almost view this as another opportunity for a grant. If you're willing to commit to taking good steps to protect your lake, we definitely want to work with you, and we'll keep you on our list of lakes to be monitored in the future. And then the nice part that we found at the end of this data collection each year, we try, and we failed the last 2 years because COVID kind of stopped in-person meetings, which were the best way to do this. We try to pull a couple of the leaders from each lake association we're working with on directed lakes projects together. This gives us as the DNR staff an opportunity to share the information we've collected with the lake group, but we bring all the directed lakes associations together if we can, or whoever can make it. So it also serves as a venue for peer-to-peer sharing among lake association leaders. And it's been popular when we did this in, must have been 2019, 2018, among the lake associations we're working with. It connects you with maybe other people that have similar issues to you on other lakes. And we hope to resume this coming winter. And then I guess I just want to throw out some positive, interactions with lake groups we've had. This is an example from the Boulder Lake Advancement Association. So they had a strong commitment to improving lake health. Bill and Ann and others took the information that we provided from our healthy lakes, or our directed lakes monitoring, presented it to their lake association at their annual meeting, and then gave their association members these 10 healthy lake actions and asked them to commit to doing at least one of them. And I can say, I know that on Boulder Lake, they have done a water diversion project or two to stop water from running off to the shoreline, a rain garden through our Healthy Lakes program. So they've seen some positive momentum from the data collection and then using that to engage their lake association. Another nice success we've had recently is on Lake Lucerne. These are just some images of them implementing a fish sticks project on their lake. The data we collected showed they had fairly low amounts of large logs in the water. These things are often removed by shoreline owners. So they worked and planned with DNR, myself, and our fisheries manager for about a year. And last winter, they were able to pull off an incredible amount of work. They had a private landowner on an island that needed to log his island for managed forest law. So they were able to use these logs, move them to places around the shoreline in the winter. They had a lot of volunteers out there cabling the logs together and to the shoreline. And then the picture on the right is just an image of one of the fish sticks clusters this spring. So they have 41 new clusters of logs on the shallow south end of the lake to improve fish and wildlife habitat. So if you're interested in partnering with the DNR on data collection and you have a need and you're wanting to really improve shorelines around the lake, be in touch with Kevin and I. Kevin's the lake coordinator in the northern counties here, and I kind of cover the southern counties in this part of the state. So be in touch. And don't worry if you catch our emails right now. This presentation will be archived, so you'll be able to find them later, and I'll put them in the chat when I'm done as well. So I'm just gonna move on quickly to DNR water quality program updates. These are meant just to give you a brief sense of what each of these things is about. If there are any upcoming opportunities for public comment, and then a place to find more information. And again, don't worry about writing down all these links. They'll be archived as part of the conference, and you'll be able to access them later as well. So I know many of you are interested in our surface water grant program and have used that over time. Just, I believe it was last week, an updated surface water grant applicant guide is available with some edits. There's a nice little pop out in there about how to access our PDF forms. So hopefully that's helpful to people. So there's the link, you can find that. And if you just want more information about our grant program, you can just search for Wisconsin DNR surface water grants. Pamela Toshner, who I see is on the call, and others on her team have been working on a new initiative called Healthy Watersheds, High Quality Waters. This they're developing a 5-year action plan to basically maintain really healthy watersheds and then the high quality lakes and rivers and wetlands within them in good condition. They've held earlier this spring and summer public and stakeholder listening sessions. And if you want to find out more information about where they're at on that new initiative and how you might get involved in the future, the website is there. As Mike pointed out earlier, we are updating for the first time in decades our aquatic plant management rules in Wisconsin. So this is for both of our current administrative rules that dealt with chemical and mechanical management of aquatic plants respectively. We're going to merge it into one rule that covers all of them at this point. Public comment period for the economic impact analysis of this rule will be coming this fall, and then public hearings on the new rule language and new rules will be later this winter. So if you deal with aquatic plants on your lakes, you probably want to give us feedback on this, and there's the website to go kind of track where we're at with those rule revisions. Wild rice is something, especially in northern Wisconsin, we think about a lot. It's kind of an iconic plant that doesn't really exist anywhere else in the world. Right now, Kevin Gauthier and others on his team have developed a strategic analysis thinking about the protection and growth of wild rice in Wisconsin. They're nearing completion on the strategic analysis. They're looking over the public comments that have recently come in now, and that will be finished up soon. Once the analysis is finished, that will help inform the development of a statewide wild rice management plan, and then there would be additional opportunities for the public to comment. And again, there's a website to learn more about the wild rice strategic analysis. And if you just want basic wild rice information, harvesting and other facts about that species, you can just search Wisconsin DNR wild rice. And then last but not least, Mike pointed out PFAS, or the perfluoral and polyfluoral alkyl substances. We're currently developing water quality rules around PFAS. Specifically, our water quality program is drafting human health surface water quality criteria that would be protective of how much water somebody drinks when they're in a lake, and if they eat fish that come from a lake, setting standards for how much PFAS is allowed. The public comment is coming up pretty quickly here on the economic impact analysis for this rule. And then the public hearings on the overall rule language will be late this fall and early this coming winter. And again, here's some ways you can find more information about our PFAS rule efforts. I think that was all I had. I don't know if I have time for questions, but thank you all for coming today.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, we have time for, I think, for a question or two if someone wants to.
Yes, I was wondering, what are your criteria for selecting the high quality waters And can you give me a couple examples of what kind of waters have been selected for that effort?
Did you hear
Right.
that one, Scott?
Yes, I did. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my Zoom screen here. Can you rephrase the question? Sorry, I was fumbling
How
with
do
my
you-
Zoom.
What are the criteria you use for selecting high quality waters, lakes and rivers? And can you give me an example of a few that you've selected so we know what size they are and, you know, approximately where they are?
Pamela, are you on, and would you mind trying to answer that? You probably would do much better than I would at that question.
Sure, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Scott, and thanks, Bob. The criteria, there's 3 major categories, and the water body needs to hit 2 of the 3 categories. So the first is it needs to be a unique or rare resource. So trout water, wild rice waters, outstanding resource waters all fit in that category. The second category is it needs to be attaining water quality standards. So basically it cannot be an impaired water. And the third is it needs to have good to excellent biotic integrity as measured by a macroinvertebrate index of biotic integrity, or a fish IBI, or a aquatic plant assessment of condition. So again, if a water body has 2 of 3 of those overall categories, it would be a high quality water. And as far as examples, for the most part, the water bodies that have 2 or 3 of those things are the water bodies you would imagine. So things like, I'm over in Bayfield County, but White River, Lake Owen, Black Oak Lake is a lake near you that hits that list. A lot of our state, or all of our state natural and scenic rivers, there's about 1,800, I think, water bodies that actually make the cut for high quality water. The key part of the new Healthy Watershed High Quality Waters program, though, is the watershed needs to be healthy too. So what will probably happen is we're going to have a list of high quality waters, but not all of those water bodies are going to be in healthy watersheds. And that's mostly determined by land use and natural land cover. So the first 5 years of the action plan will be prioritizing work on healthy watersheds and the high quality waters within them. And hopefully down the road, we can also target those high quality waters that might not be in healthy watersheds. So long answer to your question, Bob. If you could visit the website that Scott shared, and there's a draft technical report that provides more of the technical details.
Thank you.
You're welcome.